everyone, it's AJ, and today I want to talk about the second episode of Bungo Season 4, because why the fuck not? So, see, for episode 1 I was like, yes, I predicted that we would be getting the untold origins of the detective agency, and then I made the stupid prediction that it was going to be 2 episodes. Yeah, who was fucking wrong? Because it's clearly 3, and I'm annoyed. But anyway, so that means we've got about like 10 episodes for like the actual mainline story. Ugh. But anyway, so we carry on with episode 2. We're getting the theatre show. It's like, fuck yes. It's so good. Oh, so still all the great animations, and see the things that happen in this episode. It is just all fucking fantastic. Although there are still some changes because it's Bones. Of course they fucking change things. The joys. Slight wee things. Well, I say slight. Some of them I feel is kind of important, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So basically we carry on, we actually get to see the beginning of the show, and the whole play of it was like hyped up for a bit. The actors are going to die and whatnot because the angels will take their judgment. So obviously, because I was obviously right at the front and like paying attention, but he's noticed a rather finely dressed gentleman just doing the fucking bit. Obviously, if you know the series, you know it's Natsume and just like, yeah, there's that dick. He's not as a cat. What a shock. It's still my favourite comment, like later on, they're like, oh yeah, so the guy is like generally not seen, and it's like, yes, that's because he spends his days as a cat. Like, the man just literally just decides, I would rather be a cat, like, than a natural person, because I have more free reign as a cat. Plus, I can terrorise people and just do what I do. Or in case of the later mainline story, I just stalk Dazai, because obviously he just appears everywhere. Like, from, like, the Dark Era onwards, like, he just always finds Dazai. But, digress. So obviously because I was just like paying attention, keeping an eye out, making sure that nothing bad's going to happen. All the while, Rambo next to him is just like, really, this is boring as fuck. Can we go home now? He's like, can they just die already? Now, this is where like the kind of change comes in if you've read the light novel. So if you watch the anime, you kind of think, alright, it's alright. Wouldn't really think too much about it, I think. But if you've read the light novel, you'll know that when Rampo is like complaining, he's not whispering about it or being like very quiet. He's actually like shouting this. Like he's like screaming like at the top of his lungs kind of thing. Like at the front row, just being like, hey, this is shite. Like he's clearly the murderer. Like this is happening. What is wrong with people? Like he has his like little mini meltdown. Like and Bones just kind of goes like, right, let's just condense that. And we're just gonna have a little quiet meltdown with nothing else wrong. It's like, no, he is a kid, let him fucking scream. Do I like screaming children? No, fuck that. But it's important for Rampo, because I feel like it's very important for his character that is how he is. Let the man have a boy. Well, he's a boy. He's not even a man yet, he's a boy. Let the boy have his little breakdown, right? Or meltdown, not breakdown, meltdown. Like, let him scream and shout and let it all out. But, like, because obviously he goes into the little spiel after, like, complaining about how nobody can see that the fact that the main actor is the killer and blah, de blah, de blah. And then he goes into how he feels alone in the world because, like, nobody sees what he sees, so he must be, like, surrounded by, like, monsters and everything like that, so it makes him feel very, very alone. Which is very understandable to have a proper ass meltdown as a kid when you feel alone, because he has no parents, he has lost his parents. Like, everyone just shuns him out because they don't understand him. And yet, Bones just decided, no, let's just make it minuscule. Let's just make it a wee tiny little moment. No. Like, that's a wee bit annoying, right? But I feel like if you just watched the anime and you didn't really know about the light novels, you would probably just let it go. Because he kind of obviously, he gets a wee bit annoyed. So he's like, reasonably annoyed. But it's not to the degree that the light novel makes it. Like, The light novel makes it like very, very clear. He is screaming. Like, everyone can hear. Like, there's literally people complaining around him because he's like shouting. So yeah, there's that little change. But obviously Rampo gets a shine like later on and whatnot. So after they get to the intermission, Fukuzawa just goes like, right, outside boy, we're going to have a chat and I'm going to technically lie to you, which will then set you up for the rest of your life. Because the play mentions the fact that, oh yeah, there's gifted people out there. And yeah, Fukuzawa just goes, hey, by the way, you're gifted because you can predict, like, you can just look at somebody and be like, right, that's the truth. So you're gifted. That means you have a gift, you have a power, and you're going to control it with these glasses that are conveniently right up my sleeve. And the fact that Rambo just goes, yeah, these look like cheap. Cheap and nasty. And then Fukuzawa was like, yes, they are. I had to buy them because, like, for a stupid deal. But never mind, take these with this bullshit story about how it will help you control your powers, and when you put them on it will activate them and put them to their highest intensity and whatnot. But when you're not wearing them, you will not feel alone and like everyone isn't a monster and whatnot. You will be immersed in this world because everyone's a fucking idiot. Although, that is a fucking mood. Like, see that chat of just, like, how collectively, like, people are just, like, idiots in comparison to him? Yes! You work in any public sector, yes! You deal with the public. The general are just, like, no. But anyway. So that's a mood. So obviously then Rampo just, like, shines at this moment of time. And that's when we get one of the best moments. I love this. When he puts on the glasses and like obviously starts to see the world for how it is. It goes in colour. Full colour. Like, see if you got like that wee glimpse, obviously, from like Fukuzawa's viewpoint from the first episode. And now Rambo now gets to see the world as he sees it. And it's like, yes! Just that nice little... Ooh, artsy shit. Gotta love it. Oh, see, obviously when it was just like going like the wee wavy lines and then it's like the monochrome going into the colours and coming out and it's like ta-da! Everything's in colour. Oh, that really made me, that was so happy. I was so sad how I was just sitting here, I'm like, oh, yes, it didn't really help I was watching this on a public bus, and see, trying not to react to that part was very, very hard. Like, just being hyped over watching something, and I'm just like, don't do anything, AJ, you're on a public bus. You cannot explain why you're screaming over a fucking anime about dead fucking authors. But, yeah. So then, like, Rampo gets, like, his confidence and whatnot, and then obviously just, like, shouts to everybody. It's like, hey, yous are all fucking idiots, and I'm better than yous. You know, the Rampo let me know. And then, obviously, there's still a fucking murder going to happen, like, and Rampo just goes like, hey, yeah, that threat's actually real, by the way. Somebody's actually going to die, so let's split up. You watch the audience, you go back to your seat, you watch them, and I'll do the backstage shit. Yay! Teamwork! Oh, and then obviously we go back to the show, and the main actor dies. And... it's just like the pause of, wait, is this part of the play? And it's like, oh no, it's not, because obviously Fukuzawa's read the script, so obviously he knows. So he jumps up and being like, yeah, there is his blood, I can't find a pulse, so yeah, bitches, go get a fucking ambulance. Which everyone obviously starts to panic, and it's like, right, who is the culprit? Blah, 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 blah. And then, this is where Natsume comes back in, because he's disappeared, so obviously he's the only one that's disappeared from the room. That means he's the killer. Ta-da! But then, that's not really how it goes, because obviously that's not how it goes. So, Fukuzawa, in the midst of like, right, I need to try and find Rampo again, bumps into the theatre manager and goes like, hey, so Rampo just like told me all this shit. And she doesn't really explain why she's changed her tune with Rampo, which is shite, because I'm pretty sure that she doesn't say, like, Rampo goes on to basically analyse her properly, and then it says how she's not happy there, she wants to do this, she wants to change jobs, and she obviously just goes, oh, okay, right, you're the real deal, let's trust what you do. So obviously they come up with the plan of how to expose the real killer. So she just goes, right, go back to your seat and enjoy the show. It's like, wait, what? So then Rampo, being Rampo, just being like, yo, bitches, I'm gonna tear this part apart. He's like, so, yous all watched this shitey play, and yous didn't really realise that how this was going to end, but I did, so I'm going to explain how this all happened. And then, obviously, he reveals the fact that the actor didn't actually kill himself, he just drained out the majority of his blood, like, before the show, and then put on, like, plastic to kind of, like, cover up his pulses and whatnot. And it's just like, oh yes, the art and everything like that. And it's like, I have created the most delicate art because I'm a nonce. And then Rumble goes like, yeah, you know, he's thinking doing this all for the art and everything like that, but see, everyone in this room, you look at their traumatic faces, is that fucking worth it? No. And then he's just like, oh, I messed up. It's like, yeah, you did. You fucked up big time, mate. So then everyone's like, oh, it's all tickety-boo, like, it's fine. And then, like, the actor's been like, oh no, this was, like, a whole thing with me and my stage, like, the stage right and whatnot. And, the playwright, not the stage right. And the police come and it's like, yeah, the playwright's kind of dead. He was in a locked room and he's very dead. Yay! Which then is like, as you're thinking, oh, this is like the end of the mystery. Nah, here we go. There's now a murderer, as Rampos went off with a police officer in the car, but they've already split up, so Fukuzawa was like, oh fuck, what's happening to Rampo? And then that's the end of the episode. And there was me thinking, I'm like, maybe they were going to get all of it in 2 episodes. No. So, because I'm making terrible predictions, I'm going to make another terrible prediction. I feel like the wrap up, like, obviously they're going to wrap up the light novel in the next episode, right? But I want to say, I think it would be very cool if they did this, being honest, right? So at the end, spoiler alerts, by the way, okay, so I'm going to, here we go, I'm actually remembering to put a spoiler alert. So spoiler alert, if you've not read the light novel and you really don't want to know the, like, next week's episode. So, pause. So, obviously, actually, I don't even know that's technically a spoiler, but anyway, I just thought it'd be nice. So, after obviously the whole taxi thing, and then Rampo going against, like, the people that's, well, I would say semi-kidnapped him, but obviously the ADA is born. Fukuzawa goes like, right, I'm going to hire this fucking boy, we're going to make a detective agency so that he can have a job and he can use his, like, abilities to the best that he can be and be carefree in this world, and I'll protect him because he's a boy and I have a heart. So, like, they go into the whole, like, oh, he is, like, the best detective and everything like that. And then we just, like, slowly come back into, like, present day, like, into the present timeline, because basically that whole arc starts with Rampo going on, like, a whole big mystery detective story with Poe. So I feel like if they kind of smerge that in, but, like, because Rampo gets a warning not to take the case, but then Rampo still takes the case. And I feel like that's probably, like, the best way for that episode to kind of end. So they'll finish up, obviously, the light novel, then move into present day, and then tease for the fact that Rampo shouldn't be taking this case, but then takes it anyway. And then that starts us back into the mainline manga series. So, yay. But so far, still really enjoying how they're doing the season overall. I'm still I'm still happy. It's actually great being actually to watch this as they come out, because I've never been able to do that for Bungo, so this is pretty cool. So animation is still pretty solid, and I hope that stays for like the rest of the whole season, because I don't want a repeat of season 3. But yeah, so anyway, let me know your wee thoughts down below. What did you think of the second episode? And, well, are you kind of gutted that they kind of changed some things from the light novel, if you've even read it? And if you haven't, do you think you will pick it up? Because it's quite interesting when you watch like the anime versions and then you go and read the light novels. Because then you realise the stark differences sometimes what Bones do. Like, they just, like, completely just, like, change whole scenes and, like, subtext and whatnot. Obviously, you can't adapt everything. There's limits, obviously. But it's interesting about the choices that they make. And some of them are wrong. Both make a lot of wrong choices, but it's still interesting to see. But yes, oh, so happy! It's great having a Bungo season. But anyway, probably back next week after the episode, because I might as well just go through the whole arc. Why not? But anyway, until next time, I'm AJ, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.